About a motor, are you talking about one of the underground engines?
Yeah.
How much do those weigh?
Oh, a couple of tons. The long tom hauled down the pipe, it hauled down the motors, it hauled down everything. Pumps would fit in the cages.
Now, wasn't one of your last jobs replacing a pump in the Steward here?
Yeah, one of the years.
Well, now, what happened there? I mean, you get
burned
caught.
Out.
They happened in the middle of the night? What happened?
It happened in the daytime, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They burned out. They just...
Was it winter or summer?
Oh, it was summertime.
What happened?
We were building a booster pump station down at the Berkeley pit, and down come Moose Peters, who was the foreman, and he said to Jelvik, and take your crew and go to the Steward. The pump was burned out. There was me and Pepe Stakina and Jimmy, Tommy Campbell, Ronnie James, and Moose Peters' son. So up we come, went down to the original drive, put on our mine clothes, come up. The pump was already here, so 3 guys go down to the 40-100, get off on the 40, go over and get on the deep level and go to the pump station.
What level was that at?
46. The machinists are down there waiting for you. They're starting to unhook everything. So the other 3 on surface, they put that pump on the deck, lash it on, get it on. Now it has to hang too, see? It hangs. It's a big motor, you know, but it won't fit in the cage, so you have to hang it in and come along too. Bring it in and hang it up. Tie it so it don't move. Then you go down with it, you ride down with it. And you go to the 40 and you take it off at the 40 and you pull it around with the motor to the 40, to the deep level. Then you come along in the deep level and then you pull it back in again and you secure it just long enough. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What you do, you wait until the minute you get it down there, you bring it to the 40, to the deep level. The lead will sit right there on the sheets in the dip. You go down and help get that other one out, because there's not enough room down there for everybody in them 2 pumps motors. There's a pump down there already, and there's one behind the other, and it happened to be the back one that was. So that means you got to take that all, disconnect all that, then hang, rig it up in the air. 2 come along, pull it up here, float it over here, and get it out of the pump station to where you could bring it out to the shaft. Pump station was away from the shaft. So then you had to take that up to take it all together all the way up to the 40. Leave it there, go back down, bring the new pump in, float it into place over the top of the other pump that was running, and then the machinist put it down on the anchor bolts, and it was up to the machinist then. The machinist and the pumpman, they hooked it up.
So what was it like? What were the conditions like at that pump station? Was there water on the ground or what?
Coming in, hotter than the hubs of hell, I'll tell you. It was really hot, and steam and misty with the steam, you know. You can hardly see me or you down in it. And you're down to just to the top of your underwear, that's all. But there's water coming in, yeah, because you can't shut all the water off. That's the pump station, see? This pump that you disconnected, the water's still coming through that.
How's it coming in? In a pipe or through the rock?
Big pipe.
Uh-huh.
They hook that back onto the pump again, and then the pump starts to pump it back. But it pumps it to the 3900 of the Kelly.
So how much would each one of those pumps down there pump, do you figure?
Well, they were small ones. They were, I don't know what the capacity on them was. But the ones on the 3900, them big Prescotts, they would pump the water from the 3900 straight up the Kelly shaft on the number 1, 2, across the gallery all through the gulch there, up Hungry Hill to the top. And then it'd go gravity feed all the way to the copper tanks.
Well, what was that pump station like at the Kelly or the High Ore?
That was
at the 3,900 foot level?
You couldn't believe it. They had trees growing down there.
So how many pumps were there?
9.
9? Working or?
No, they all didn't work. I think there was always 5 working and 4 spares. And they wouldn't all run, they'd run them, they could turn off number 1, number 3, number 5, number 7, and work number 2, number 4, number 6, number 8. Then they wouldn't run them all the time. They ran each one, they all ran about the same hours, so that anything happened, you always had And there was always 2 spares sitting on the floor there. Actually, there was 9 or 10 pumps on that station. 2 of them were right on trucks. They were all repaired and everything, and they were ready to go. One of them burned out. You go down and take that old one off that was burned out, or something went wrong with it. Take it out by the shaft on a truck. Bring one of them spares in. Rig it up. They had a crawl beam and everything, man. You just rig it up, put it into place, and the pumping in the.
So did you have a hand in moving those pumps down into the Kelly?
Yeah, I helped move them out too.
What happened when you moved them out?
We moved all the. We took them back up on a big cage. But
all 10 of them?
Oh no. The pumps are worth $42,000 a piece. They hoisted them to surface, they'd get salvage rights off, which maybe was $10,000. If they left them down there, I don't know what the price was, what they would have got. We took every single piece, part, pump, every bolt, nut, everything, and put it on the 39. Took everything out of that Butte machine shop. Took it to the 3900. It was all on the station there.
When you installed them?
No, when it was at the end of the mine.
Oh, is that right? I'll be darned. So was the Kelly deeper than 3900?
44? 48.
48. And was the Steward deeper than 46?
No, that was the bottom.
So
the con was 5,280 feet. The con was in there. She's a mile high and a mile deep, right on the level. That's where that saying came from.
How deep was it again?
5,280 feet, right on the nose.
So there was some equipment that you took into the Stewart you had to take through the con?
If we were going to lower, when they're hoisting rock, when all the rock don't hit in the bucket there, they hit the splash pan, and some of the small stuff goes out the sides, down the shaft it goes. What they got is a big door that they drop down, out into the shaft. It's called an overflow door. It sits right in the shaft at an angle like that. All right, all these loose rocks hit that and slide into a pocket down there. Had not having an overflow door, they'd go knock out everything. You know, they could bounce into a station and take out electrical or anything. You get some of them Dugans were like that, you know. They'd fly right into the station, and somebody be standing there could kill you. But with the overflow doors, this shaft was too tight in some of the places. So they had to take the overflow door down the con mine on the big ones, bring it over, put it on a truck, and bring it over pull it over here to the Steward with the boulder.
On what level?
4,000. Then you went there, and then you could rig it up again. You had to rig it up again in the cage and hang it, and it wouldn't hang this straight like this. You had to turn it at an angle so it would ride on one side of the door would be on the right-hand side of the guide, and the other side of it would be on the other side of the guide. So it was the guides kept it from spinning around in the shaft, but you still had to tie it so and hope that it didn't swing. But you rode it down then to the overflow, and they were all ready for it, and they just, well, they'd have 2 ropemen or 2 shaftmen mostly were there. Had a great big timber with hinges on it. This overflow door was made out of solid steel, and it had an eye in it and everything so that you could pull it up with the decks. But when it was in position, it had handles. It had just like those 2 big handles there. You pushed them, and the air pushed that door right out into the shaft. The handles were off to the sides. When they were true hoisting rock, you pushed the button again, and the air pulled that door right back up against the station. Right there in position. There it stayed. All right, you got all the rock hoisted up for the day. You put it up out of the way. The first trip down in the morning, you always pull the rock on the lower levels first. First thing they do is go down, put the overflow door out. The overflow door go out, then they go up into the pockets above, wherever the shaft, the first lever they're going to hoist off say the 3800. So they come up to the pocket on the 3800. They're right in the cage. There's the pocket's set back. The chutes come out, but the pocket's set back. There's handles there. You go get off the cage and you go out and raise the door and the oars flies out. You got an air pipe, air hoses, and if it hangs up, you blow it out. It all goes in when it's full. Down comes the door, shut the door again. Down it comes. They're all big cylinders, air cylinders. Whoomp! The door. But, you know Tim Deasy?
Yeah, just met him.
Well, his father was in there looking up one day, down the Emma, looking up to see if it was plugged. Something happened and the door came down. Squashed.
What, now this main shaft, it went deeper than 4,000 feet. I mean, the deep level was at 4,000, but did this main shaft go down below 4,000?
Oh, yeah, it went down too, yeah.
How far down did it go?
It went down to 4,200 was the bottom of this one. That's where the overflow door was, I think, was on the 4,200.
Yeah.
The con, the skips, they had other skips down there too here. Just like these skips here were down the line. Another set of them.
Well,
same way up there.
Well, what did those chambers look like that had the deep hoists? How big were those?
Big as that?
Big as this building here?
Well, not really that big, but you got a hoist down there.
Yeah. Well, who ran this hoist down here, do you remember?
Ray Callahan was one of them, and there was a lot of guys. The engineers ran them just like they ran them when there. That was their jobs. This con, right on the 4,000 of the con, you get off the cage here, and you walk over, say, to the east, and there sits another big set of a changeover just like this and everything. We put all that in. That was ironworkers' work underground. You had 2 decks, 2 skips. They never took the skips off these. They only just had the decks. They never had the dead ones go down. The chip would go way down in the con. The chip would go down all the way to the almost to it went to the 5,200. But all this was in the lower deep levels was a cage and a skip. That's all.
Okay.
Then they'd bring up the ore to the 4,000, above the 4,000, and they'd dump it into transfer pockets. And they'd go into another set of bins, and then those bins, these big ones, the big ones would come down and take it from there up. You couldn't believe it. It was.
Well, now, how were these mines connected? At what levels? Do you remember?